In 1945, a training flight of 5 TBM Avenger bombers disappeared over the Atlantic. All 14 airmen on the flight disappeared and were never seen again. After the loss of the airmen, the Navy sent Martin PBM Marina flying boat to search for the men, and then the flying boat disappeared, alongside its 13 crew members. The area both aircraft disappeared over is now known as the Bermuda Triangle. In this video, we'll be exploring what the Bermuda Triangle is and what the strange disappearances in it mean. If you like videos like this, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons. In September 1950, Edward Van Winkle Jones published an interesting article in the Miami Herald. The article spoke about a series of strange disappearances in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. The article argued that all these disappearances managed to happen in the same area. 2 years later, the same incredible claims were published by Fate magazine. This article outlined the loss of Flight 19 and argued that the planes disappeared over the same conspicuous area that Van Winkle had written about. The article was the first to triangulate the area where the mysterious loss happened, and since the area has been called the Bermuda Triangle, or more accurately, the Devil's Triangle. In 1974, Charlie Berlioz wrote the definitive book that birthed the myth of the Bermuda Triangle. The book was simply named The Bermuda Triangle and contained astonishing facts that did a lot to prove that the triangle was some twilight zone on the sea. The book claimed dozens of ships and aircraft disappearing mysteriously in the area, outlined supposed cover-ups of these disappearances by the authorities that be, and proved incredible theories about the triangle to back up his claim. It was a bestseller. Over the next few years, more incredible claims about the Devil's Triangle and the mysterious Flight 19 mishaps would surface. People eventually learnt that the pilot of the flight had been heard saying, "We are entering white water. Nothing seems right. We don't know where we are. The water is green, not white." Another incredible claim was that the Navy's Inquiry Committee discovered that the plane had flown off to Mars. In time, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle would be established. Many writers investigated, and there was soon an accurate description of this triangle. It was said to have its 3 points in Miami, San Juan, and Puerto Rico. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle in the modern day has gotten so much mainstream that there've been many movies based on the premise that this triangle exists. Movies like Percy Jackson, Satan's Triangle, and Gulliver's Travels have all incorporated the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. While many of these movies treated the triangle whimsically, many believe that this triangle exists and it's real. These people believe that there is something in the triangle sinking ships and aircraft alike, and that people who don't see it are just blind to the evidence. Some of the ships that have disappeared in the mysterious circumstances in the Bermuda Triangle include HMS Atlanta way back in 1844, the USS Cyclops in 1918, Star Tiger and Star Ariel in 1948, and the Connemara IV in 1995. These are just some of the more popular cases of disappearances in the area. To the average person, the claim that the Bermuda Triangle is an extraordinarily dangerous and mysterious place where ships and planes disappear may sound plausible due to the weight of this evidence. If it weren't so dangerous and mysterious, why would so many ships and planes disappear over it? Now let's assume without conceding that this is true and that a lot of dangerous and mysterious things happen in the triangle. What then? What are the factors causing it? Believers in the Bermuda Triangle don't all agree about the causes of the wrecks and crashes in the triangle. Some believe it's all supernatural, while others believe that there are naturalistic explanations for it. Believers in naturalistic explanations say that the chief reason for the shipwrecks in the area is compass malfunction. They believe that unusual local magnetic anomalies may exist in the area, and as such may mislead sailors and pilots and lead to their death. However, compass malfunction isn't at all rare. We've known for at least 300 years that true north and magnetic north aren't always the same place, and that a few places on the globe sometimes cause that division. Therefore, it isn't at all strange for a compass to change its orientation whole over an area as large as the Bermuda Triangle. There's also the Gulf Stream explanation. The Gulf Stream is a river within an ocean, and believers in the Bermuda myth have argued that this stream is what causes the shipwrecks in the area. However, the Gulf Stream isn't strong enough to do that. The steam can only trouble a pilot attempting a water landing or a shop with a defective engine. Others argue that the weather in the area is particularly dangerous, and say that the area has a large number of hurricanes passing through it. That's true, but even that cannot explain the triangle, since the same occurrences aren't recorded in area where more hurricanes pass through. There's also the explanation of methane hydrates. Believers in the conspiracy say that some of the disappearances in the area can be explained by the presence of large fields of methane hydrates on continental shelves. This piece of evidence is quite interesting because it has a scientific basis. Laboratory experiments carried out in Australia have proven that these methane hydrates can indeed sink a ship by decreasing the density of water. The wreckage from the ship would also be deposited on the ocean floor or dispersed by the Gulf Stream. Some people have hypothesized that periodic methane eruptions in the area may create disturbances in the area that may lead to multiple ships disappearing. However, this theory fails to explain the supposed disappearance of aircraft in the triangle. Additionally, there's no scientific evidence that gas hydrates have been released in the area of the Bermuda Triangle in the last 15,000 years. So even that today, despite how rationalistic it is, fails on that account. If the natural explanation doesn't work, what about the supernatural explanation? Well, some writers, including Charlie Belize, the writer of the Bermuda Triangle, have said that the reason the triangle is so dangerous is because of leftover technology from the lost city of Atlantis. If you didn't know, the lost city of Atlantis is another urban legend predicted on an island written about Plato. While some believe that Atlantis was just a fictional invention of Plato, others argue that the city was real and Plato was writing about a real place. Now here is where it gets pretty creepy. In 1968, a submerged strange rock formation called the Bimini Road was discovered in the Bermuda Triangle. Believers in the Bermuda Triangle say that the formation is a wall that was part of old Atlantis and is one of the reasons why the Bermuda Triangle is so dangerous. This formation sends forth a signal that confuses sailors and destroys compasses, leading to a higher rate of wrecks than normal in the area. Others hypothesize that the triangle is a portal to another universe. They say that this causes a time-space warp that sucks the projects around it into a parallel universe. That's why many of the disappearances in the area are permanent. For example, the wreckage of Flight 19 has never been discovered, despite over half a century of searches. People say that the wreckage is in another dimension, that's why it hasn't been found. Others argue that the disappearances are caused by aliens, which when you think about it, isn't quite as strange as any of the other paranormal explanations people give for the existence of the triangle. But here's the thing about all of these arguments. There is no evidence for them. Not only is there no evidence for them, but there's also a lot of evidence that the Bermuda Triangle is probably one of the least dangerous parts of the Atlantic Ocean. First of all, the book that birthed the Bermuda Triangle myth, written by Charlie Belize, is more accurately described as a book of myths. Most of the claims that Belize made in his book are either mistakes, misrepresentations, or outright fabrications. According to investigative journalists, many of the most absurd claims about the triangle are all based on lies in Belize's book. If the book hadn't existed, the myth of the Bermuda Triangle would have never become mainstream. For one, a lot of the ships, Belize argued, were lost in the Bermuda Triangle and simply never existed outside of his imagination. In other cases, the ships he wrote about didn't mysteriously disappear at all. In fact, many of them only disappeared during bad storms. That's not mysterious at all. In fact, it's the opposite of mysterious. The facts about the Bermuda Triangle are a little less interesting than the exciting theories about the place. For one, the first claim that the triangle is one dangerous area of the ocean is simply false. Many ships may have sunk in the area, but there's no evidence that the proportion of shipwrecks in the triangle is higher than those in other parts of the ocean. Since the Bermuda Triangle is very large and a lot of ships go through the route, it's only normal that there would be a lot of reports of shipwrecks in the area. The proportion of accidents in the area is just as we would expect of any area in the ocean that is as large. Secondly, even though the area is frequented by tropical cyclones, the number of real disappearances and shipwrecks we've had in the area is negligible. This means that the triangle is even safer than we would expect for an area prone to tropical cyclones. Most importantly, the Bermuda Triangle has never been regarded as extremely dangerous by authorities that have a vested interest in avoiding dangerous shipping routes. The marine insurance market, for example, doesn't charge extra fees for ships that cross the triangle. If the area were extremely dangerous, the market would respond to that information and charge more for ships crossing the route. The United States Coast Guards have also said that the number of supposed disappearances in the area is quite insignificant when compared to the number of ships and aircraft that go through the area regularly. It seems that the question of the Bermuda Triangle isn't even a real question in the first place. The premises that the question is based on do not exist, since the so-called mysterious and dangerous incidents are exaggerated and in most cases do not even exist. While there have been some mysterious disappearances like Flight 19 for example, these disappearances don't prove the myth of the Bermuda Triangle. The disappearance disappearance of wreckage and aircraft over the sea is quite common. Many ships and planes that have disappeared in other areas of the sea haven't been found yet. The reason for this is simple. The ocean is extremely large and deep. This means that it can be very difficult to find a lost aircraft or ship. So even if a ship cannot be found, that doesn't necessarily mean the disappearance is paranormal or mysterious. It just means that it's very difficult to find wreckage in the sea. If you loved this video, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons. Goodbye and stay safe.